All right, joining me today is a man who has done it all in the world of pro wrestling, from the WWF, WCW, ECW, to training the superstars of tomorrow. Mr. Hughes joins us today. Thank you so much, and how are you doing?
Great to be with you, man. Just sitting here chilling, watching some Andy Griffith.
Great. Now, before we get into it, you'll be appearing with ESS Promotions on October 14th at the Wrestling Universe, on the 15th for Legends of the Ring, and the 16th at the Pro Wrestling World. For more information, head on over to ESSPromotions.com. I must say, though, for the wrestling fans out there who go to all the conventions, all the shows on the Northeast, being able to meet you seems to be a first, at least for me, which is great. So make sure you guys don't miss this opportunity. But tell us about your upcoming appearances and what are you looking forward to the most?
Well, like I said, you got some upcoming appearances up that way, 14th through the 16th. Looking forward to that. And going to Chicago on the 12th. And, and they come in, I get bookings all the time. And, of course, training guys as well to be professional wrestlers. And, of course, I got Heath Slater and Apollo Crews and Moose, and I can go on and on with thousands of guys that I've trained
Mm-hmm.
in the world of professional wrestling, and they're doing their thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And so, pretty much proud. Heath Slater just won one half of the tag team belts, him and Rhino. So I do teach guys how to do it, no doubt about it.
Definitely. Now, when I was growing up, we traded VHS tapes. Then it moved to DVDs. But now, with stuff like the WWE Network, fans can watch you anytime on any streaming device. And a lot of other companies have followed suit with the streaming. Has this given new life to superstars of the past? Because, now kids can easily go back and watch your era and as if it was yesterday, which in return, brings out new and younger fans to conventions and wrestling shows. How does that make you feel knowing that the work you did lives on forever in this digital age?
Oh, it's an awesome feeling, man. All that hard work we didn't put in it, all these highways and byways we didn't went down, and all these hell holes we didn't wrestle in, and it all paid off. At least we do. If something was to happen, at least something is left behind for future generations to view. And of course, the character Mr. Hughes. I haven't pretty much seen anyone try to, how some other guys they'll try to act like other wrestlers, but I haven't seen anybody try to wear the shades and do things that I did in that ring. So it's good that they have old footage. I think that's WWE or the network that they have put together. Because they have everything that I ever did as far as wrestling, besides AWA or Puerto Rico or any other outside territory that they didn't buy.
Mm-hmm.
It's all on the network of me. So anything you want to find on Mr. Hughes, you can just go to the network, and there it is.
Definitely. Now, if we could take a step back a little bit, you were trained in professional wrestling under Sonny Myers and Bob Geigel. What can you tell us about your training and learning from these two?
Well, when I was in high school, Bob Geigel, at the time he was the NWA president, and the booker. He was the main guy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were somebody, you came through Kansas City. So most all the stars, if you were somebody, you came through Kansas City. And so anyway, long story short, Bob Geigel, he went to Iowa. He wrestled at Iowa and almost went to college to play football there. And he followed my career, my high school career. I was, All-American in 3 sports. And I almost went to Iowa, and Iowa was after me to go there. And he, like I said, he followed my athletic career in high school, and he knew I was. So, long story short, when I finished college, I was looking for somebody to train me, and I talked to a couple of people, and they directed me toward that's where I lived, and directed me towards Bob Geigel. And did a little research, found his phone number, called him up, and talked to him for a few minutes. He already knew who I was when I called him, and so we set something up to where I could meet and we can get together and start training, and that's what we did.
Mhm. Definitely. Now, also, you debuted in 1987 for Central States Wrestling before moving to the AWA under the ring name of Curtis the Cat Hughes. Did your training really prepare you for that moment of truth that when you went out there saying, hey, this is a live crowd, there's no turning back? Were you prepared on your first day?
Oh yeah. Bob Gaggle, he was Sonny Myers and Ted O'Connor. They worked with us. And they got us together. I mean, they got us ready, basically. And like I was trained by old timers, okay, and I'll try to keep that old time style of training alive when I train my students. And so, the method that Geigel and Sonny Myers and Ted O'Connor taught was something that stuck, and I learned real fast. I never got out of the ring. I was there every day. Even when I got pulled a muscle, I was always there. So I didn't miss too many days. So, right from the get-go, they already pretty much told me that, I was what's called a natural. I just need to be taught how to do it. And Geigel, was a tough old bird, low rest and soul, him and Ted O'Connor and Sonny Myers. They were good teachers, and I'm trying to carry on what they taught me.
Definitely. Now, fast forward a little bit. When you made it to the WWF, you had a feud between you and the Undertaker. Now, what was it like working possibly with the Undertaker at such an early stage of his career, seeing the longevity he has had today?
Well, I tell you, man, it was a hell of a rush, that's for sure. And I was so blessed to get in that spot, because a lot of guys were in line to work with him, and I guess Vince McMahon saw something in me that would help get the match over, whatever the case may be. But working with the Undertaker was a dream come true to me. I mean, it's hard to explain. It's something you work so hard at something, and then the reward is, you get the top dog in the shed. So you get to work with the top dog in the shed, and when that happened, that kind of catapulted my career a lot, and so I had to really sit down and get myself, as far as business-wise, minded together, and that's what I did. So, working with the Undertaker, was a big pleasure, and they helped my career a great deal.
Definitely. Now, like I said earlier, too, you've worked everywhere, including Eastern Championship Wrestling in 1993, which in your time there was renamed to Extreme Championship Wrestling in 94. Was there a lot of talk backstage with why they were changing the name, and maybe what were your initial thoughts about it? Because, it's not every day a promotion will just up and change their name.
Well, what happened with that was, at first, it was, Eastern Championship Wrestling. You knew that, of course. And I guess at the time, when I was, and Paul, he called me to, let me know he was starting up that particular company. Asked me, if I was interested and so forth and so on. And he was starting out, young guys like Taz and Sandman and Tommy Dreamer and, just a whole slew of other young guys that did something in wrestling in the future. But at that time, they were still kind of training in the back at DCW arena. But when those guys got trained, I believe they wanted to make it a little more extreme. That's why they call it Extreme Championship Wrestling. What I mean by extreme, they wanted to be a little more violent, a little more crazier than what was going on at the time on WWF. So, people started watching it because it was different. And it's like in MMA, when that came out, people started watching it because it was different. And that was the deal with ECW when they changed from Eastern to Extreme. That's when they decided, okay, we're going to start going through tables. We're going to start busting up, each other with bottles and working on tax and all that foolishness, you know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, my thing was just the wrestle. I wasn't down with all that. And so that's the reason why, you know, I wasn't there that long, because I went down for all that, man. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying?
Yeah.
I'm a wrestler, you know.
Oh yeah.
I'm
That,
a wrestler, so.
sure. Now, between WCW, WWE, ECW, was there one? I mean, that you liked the most or that you enjoyed the most?
Yeah, WWF was the best one because, I mean, you had more, there was more perks involved, and they did more
Mhm.
traveling overseas, and you know, you got, you know, it was just a better deal, you
Sure.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you know, royalties and all that good stuff, you know, so you know, WWF was the better deal, so
Oh yeah, definitely. Now
yeah.
a lot of people don't get to see or hear much about what goes on backstage or after the show. But did you have any close friends while working at any of these companies? Anybody that you stayed in contact with?
Oh yeah, you know, me and Ron Simmons, you know, we got pretty close, and you know, we hung out all the time. He used to go fishing, and of course, a few of them are not here anymore. So, you know, you know.
Mhm.
But other than that, you know, yeah, Ron Simmons was pretty much me, him, and Junkyard Dog.
Sure.
We used to hang out and you know go fishing and talking, whatever you want to say. But yeah, those pretty much the only two I was close to.
Sure. And I'll have to ask too. With close friends come arch enemies. Did you ever have a colleague who was maybe just difficult to work with, or maybe you just
Well,
didn't see eye to eye with a lot?
well, I had you know, a couple of them, but we got it straightened out after a night, after addressing the situation. You know, that happens with anybody.
Sure.
When you
Yeah.
come in as a young piece of talent, they're gonna try you and see, you know, see if you got the balls to stand up to them. And I passed the test, and yeah, but it wasn't nothing major. You
Sure.
know,
Sure. Yeah.
yeah,
Now,
it all panned out.
definitely. Now, we're based out of Poughkeepsie, New York, and we're so lucky to have the Mid Hudson Civic Center up here in Poughkeepsie as our home base for pro wrestling. Do you have any memories of working in Poughkeepsie, or at least anywhere in the Northeast? Maybe you could tell us about.
Well, I'll be honest with you. That was so long ago, and back in those days, I used to party like a rock star. So,
No
so,
problem.
so a lot of those memories are not there, because sometimes I'm on shows and people come to me and say, "Yeah, you remember when so and so and so and so and so and so?" I'm looking at them like they're crazy, you know. So, yeah, but I mean, I remember a lot of things, you know, fun things I did up north, up around Jersey, New York, Philly area. You know, I did a lot of fun things, but a lot of fun things I don't think I should be talking about on the radio.
Definitely. Now, you also wore the hat of a trainer for WWA 4. Did you ever think during your career that you would turn around and be a trainer as well?
Well, of course, yeah, that was the plan. I mean, when they gave me a call, when Frank gave me a call, and you know, he's looking for somebody to take a spot at the WWE for, and of course I answered the call, and you know, of course when I got there, I didn't have no experience teaching, so I had to learn as I went,
Mhm.
you know,
Sure.
and once I did figure it out, you know, then I had it up under my belt as far as how to teach fundamentals and add what I've taught along with a few other things, you know, to teach guys how to do this stuff, and it worked out, you know. And so after 14 years of teaching young men and women how to wrestle, you know, thousands of them, I trained thousands of them,
Mhm.
and of course there's a couple in the WWE, and there's one in TNA, and then there's one they're all over the place. Let's put it like that.
Sure,
You know,
definitely.
and so I'm proud of what they're doing out there, and you know, proud of Hughes Slater. He's second time tag team champion. He's having a good run up there, and I talked to him the other day, and you know, he's happy as he could be, and we talked and talked about when he first came in there, and you know, start from the bottom line here, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
and then of course Apollo Cruz, he's up there.
Yeah.
He's doing his thing, getting a serious push. And of course, Moose, he's in TNA.
Hmm.
He's doing his thing up there in TNA. And Jonathan Gresham, he does some stuff with Ring of Honor. And of course, Kara Hogan, you know, she's getting looked at by WWE. She's a good, talented young lady. And so, I train thousands of people, and every day, and that I
Mhm.
teach people. I pray every day that they make it.
Yeah, that's definitely an impressive list of students you had there. But what would you say? What's the biggest piece of advice you give your students maybe on day one? Is there anything you like to always tell them about before you get into it all?
Oh yeah, I pretty much tell them, if you want to be successful in the wrestling game, time is a big, big, big issue, man. And a lot of people think that they have plenty of time.
Hmm.
You see, and wrestling years are like dog years. You feel me?
Yeah.
They go by pretty fast.
Yep.
So some people think they got a lifetime to drag your feet to be a wrestler. You have to, when you make your mind up as a young person, okay, to be a wrestler, right? You have to find you a good trainer, okay, and get to the freaking building and train every day.
Hmm.
You can't come in once in a while. You're not going to be a wrestler. Here's the thing: you got a lot of guys out here call themselves being trainers, trying to so-called teach people how to wrestle, and they don't know hammerlock from a freaking wrist lock, okay?
Yep.
And it's all and it's basically just a how to make make money gimmick, and I don't work like that.
Yeah.
Every person I try to teach, okay, is to try to make it. That's it. That's how I do it. I mean, I'm not going to try train you if you ain't got the heart or if you ain't got the freaking hungriness, to work at it and make it,
Definitely.
And that's just how I roll, man. I mean, I have a passion for it. I love professional wrestling. I've been doing it almost 30 years.
Hmm.
All right. When I see a young man walk down that aisle on TNA or WWE, okay, that makes me feel great.
Definitely. No,
Right?
yeah, definitely. Now, one last thing too. For the fans out there who've known you, you lost a lot of weight too. You went from about, I think, 400 pounds down to 250.
Yeah.
You're in incredible shape. What motivated you to drop the weight, and how did you do it?
Well, I mean, what motivated me to drop it because I didn't want to have a drop from a heart attack or a stroke, because I see a lot of guys that, are overweight, and if they're not on a regular, workout plan, and all they're doing is just eating and carrying on, I mean, you're gonna get fat, you're gonna get out of shape, you're gonna catch a heart attack. And I thought about all that, you understand? And so I just decided to, stop partying, drinking beer, and eating garbage. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just cut it all out and just started, because I've been an athlete all my life, so I know how to work out and lift weights, see?
Yeah.
And the thing I did was I come in the gym, I'd stretch, I'd hit the weights first. This is my routine I'm giving you, what I did to get all that weight off. I'd come in, I'd stretch, I'd hit the weights real hard. I'd hit the freaking weights.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I did the weights, then I'd ride the Stairmaster. I remember the first day I tried it, I couldn't even ride it, 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I pushed myself.
Sure.
I pushed myself. Every day I got 5 minutes and added 5 and then added 5 next day. I was riding for an hour. But here's the funny part. Every day when I would get done at that Stairmaster, it looked like it rained over there. It's like it looked like somebody might have poked a hole in the belly and all this water ran out, right?
Yep.
And of course there was a lot of fat on that floor. And then after I did the Stairmaster, then I went into the sauna, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Hot sauna.
Yep.
And I would spend 2 hours in and out of a hot sauna. I'd get in there and get to sweating. And then I jump in the shower for a couple of seconds, then go back and get in. I did that for 2 hours and sweating it all off. I worked out and sweat. That's why when people looked at me, they said, "Man, you on a juice or something?" And I was drug free. I never used no freaking steroids or anything. I just went into the freaking gym with a plan. I stopped eating garbage. Because I used to eat pizza and chili dogs, everything, garbage, drink beer, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how I gained all that weight in the first place. And so when I cut all that out and started eating healthy and eating right and working out, that's how it all came off.
Definitely. Well, that's great. Great to hear, Mr. Hughes. Once again, everybody, please check out ESSpromotions.com. He's going to be in the area on October 14th to the 16th. Great talking with you. Now, are you in the social media age? Can people follow you, or where can people keep up with you these days?
Yeah. I have a wrestling school in Atlanta now. Mm-hmm. It's called Total Protection Mr. Hughes Wrestling School. It's at 640 Highway 138 in Riverdale, Georgia. The phone number is 404-664-2827. And, of course, my email, if you want to email Mr. Hughes, is mrhughesthebull@yahoo.com. If you want to be a professional wrestler, go to that email and send me an email or Facebook, Curtis Hughes. To find me, you'll see my mugshot right there with the WWE emblem right there. So I'm not hard to find. Mm-hmm. And like I said, you want to book Mr. Hughes? Go to all that information. You can find me.
Perfect. Once again, Mr. Hughes, thank you so much for taking your time out to join us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.